Episode 1, the 80-20 rule in the kitchen. Doing less, achieving more. Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Theories of the World at Work, the podcast where we unpack powerful management mental modes and turn them into simple actions you can apply this week. If you have ever ended a week exhausted but strangely unsatisfied with your results, this episode is for you. Today, we are starting with one of the most famous ideas in management, the 80-20 rule. It's also called Pareto principle. It says that a small number of inputs often create the large part of output. For example, 20% of your task might drive 80% of your results. But instead of talking about it in a boardroom, I want to start in a place I know well, a busy Friday night kitchen. A Friday night kitchen, just picture this. It is 8:30 p.m. on Friday. The printer is spitting tickets like a machine gun. The expo is calling orders. The tandoor is roaring. The fryers are screaming. And every station feels like one step away from chaos. You're head of the kitchen or culinary lead. The menu is beautiful, 40 plus items, chef specials, seasonal dishes, must-try signatures, the kind of menu that makes critics nod, aggregators clap. By 1 a.m., you are standing in a walk-in exhausted. You see half-used prep tubs, trays of misa that didn't even move, and a pile of ingredients that will become tomorrow's waste. Or staff meal. You have worked like crazy. The team is drained. But when you look at the numbers and guest feedback, something feels off. You run a quick report, or even just thinking through the last few weeks, and notice a handful of dishes fly out every service. A few hero curries or main almost every second table. The small set of ingredients drive the most of your food cost and most of your reputation at the same time. Some dishes barely move. A new, overly complicated menu items eat hours of prep and only appear on the 2 or 3 tickets at a night. 1 or 2 processes routinely jam the entire line. That's the 80-20 effect in real life. A small number of dishes, ingredients, and processes create disproportionately large share of your results, both good and bad. Once you see this pattern in your kitchen, it becomes very hard to unsee it. Second, the concept. The 80-20 rule really says, let's zoom out for a moment. The 80-20 rules come from an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, who noticed that roughly 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the people. Later, people found similar patterns everywhere. A minority of products drive the most profit. The minority of the bugs cause the most incidents. A minority of the features deliver the most user value. In management, the core message is simple. Not all work is created equal. 20% of your customers might create 80% of your revenue, or 80% of your complaints as well. 20% of the projects might create 80% of the strategic impact. 20% of your daily tasks create 80% of the real progress. In the kitchen, that translates into 20% of your menu brings in 80% of your orders, and word of mouth. 20% of your ingredients drive 80% of your food cost as well. So that's important part. 20% of your processes causes 80% delays and stress. 20% of your team members may be responsible for 80% of your output or your problems. The exact number do not matter. Sometimes it is 70-30. In few cases it is 90-10 or maybe 60-40. What matters is the shape of pattern. A few vital things that may be trivial but create a real impact. The real power of this model is that it gives you the permission, and I would argue a responsibility, to focus on the vital few instead of trying to optimize everything equally. Third is the story. Arjun's menu in the spreadsheet that changed his kitchen. Let me bring this to life with a story. Arjun runs a 60-seater casual dining restaurant in Bengaluru. Great ambience, strong reviews, always busy on weekends. On paper, it looks like a success. But behind the past, the story is different. The ticket times slipping, staff burnouts, inconsistent food quality, and menu that seems to grow a little every quarter. One Monday, after a brutal service, his sous chef asks, "Chef, which dishes are actually paying our rent?" That question sticks. On their weekly off, Arjun does something many chefs who would avoid. He opens his laptops, exports 3 months of sales data, and starts sorting. What he sees is brutal and beautiful at the same time. Out of 45 dishes, around 10 to 12 are doing the heavy lifting. A couple of curries, one biryani, one dal, one bread or two, and signature starters show up almost every report. A big chunk of the menu barely moves. Maybe 1 or 2 orders a night, sometimes not even that. He then looks up at the prep and the cost. The handful of ingredients, ghee, chicken, paneer, basmati, cashews take up the most of the food budget. A few complex dishes suck up at the prep hours. Slow braises, elaborate garnishes, items needing too many separate components. In that moment, the 80-20 rule stops being abstract idea from a management book. It becomes something painfully real. 20% of my menu is driving 80% of my sales and reputation. 20% of my steps are causing 80% of the pain. At the next pre-shift, Arjun does not introduce a new dish. He tells his team a new story. He tapes the sales ranking printout on the pass and says, "These top 10 to 12 dishes are our heroes. They are paying our salaries, our rent, our vendors. When the nights get crazy, our job is to protect these heroes first. Everything else is secondary." He also circles the bottom section of the list. These dishes look fancy on paper, but they are making us tired, not successful. We are chopping, marinating, cleaning our plates, and nobody would miss if they disappeared also. Slowly, they start making 80-20 driven choices. Removing a couple of ultra complex and low selling items. Simplifying garnishes that cause constant bottlenecks. Similarly, standardizing the recipes for their 10 to 12 hero dishes so that every cook can execute them under pressure. Rearranging the line so to the highest volume dishes have the cleanest flow and the clearest mesa. A few months in, the results are noticeable. Ticket times improve without pushing harder. Food cost comes under control because they are not overstocking slow-moving items. Team feels tired, but not broken after a peak service. Most importantly, the dishes that define the restaurant actually get the attention what those dishes deserve. The kitchen did not get better by doing more. It got better by choosing what matters. That's 80-20 in action. Maybe you can try that. And fourth one is about application. How can you use 80-20 principle this week? Now let's bring from Arjun's kitchen story into a reality. Here's a simple 3-step exercise you can do this week. Whether you are running a single outlet, multiple cloud kitchens, or a corporate culinary function, this is applicable to everyone. Step 1 is audit, list and label. Pick one area. It can be your menu. You can start from there. Or it can also be your weekly prep list, your SKUs and ingredients, or your own calendar as a chef or a manager. Now list it out for an example. All menu items are there. All major prep activities have been listed. All recurring tasks on your calendar are listed. Next to each one, quickly mark how much does this contribute to sales, quality, guest delight, or margin, high, medium, or low. Don't overthink it. You're not trying to build a perfect model. You're just surfacing the reality here. Step number 2, zoom in and find out the vital few. Now circle the top 20, the 5 to 10 dishes that are your real heroes, or it could be 3 to 4 processes. If fixed, would unblock your entire service. The 2 to 3 tasks in your calendar that are truly moving the business. Could be menu development, could be training, could be process optimization, or could be key reviews. Ask yourself, if I could only work on these circled items next week, what would I do differently? This question forces you out of the busy chef mindset and into high leveraging leader mindset. Step 3, redesign the move time and attention. Now make a small but real changes. Protect more time and energy for your hero dishes and processes. That might mean streamlining, training, dedicating your best people for them. Simplify the batch or eliminate low impact items that are often stealing time. A rare ordered starter, a overcomplicated garnish, or nice to have report. The re-engineer one process that consistently derails service. Maybe order prior communication, pass layout, or how specials are briefed. The goal is to ignore everything else. The goal is deliberately overinvest in minority of the things that create the majority of the results. Even shifting 10 to 20% of your time and resources from trivial many to a vital few can, over month, completely change how your kitchen feels and performs. Fifth is about reflection, when we talk about how we can use some resources. I want to leave you with one reflection. If I looked honestly at my week in the kitchen, what are the 3 activities or dishes that truly create most of the impact, and how can I protect more time and energy from them? If you're listening to this and you're active on LinkedIn, it's a small experiment. After this episode, make a short post, comment, sharing one of the area you will apply 80-20 principle rule, maybe to your menu, to your prep, to cost control, or your own calendar as a culinary leader. When you say it publicly, you're more likely to follow through, and you also signal that you think in terms of leveraging and not just the effort. If you like to go deeper into this idea, one very easy accessible book is the 80-20 principle, The Secret to Achieving More with Less by Richard Coe. It explores how this pattern shows up in business, time, and personal effectiveness, with lots of examples you can adopt. One accessible book is The 80-20 Principle, The Secret to Achieving More with Less by Richard Coe. It explores how this pattern shows up in business, time, personal effectiveness, with lots of examples you can adapt to the kitchens and food operations. For a broader library of mental models that apply to management leadership, you can also explore to Farman Street's Mental Models collection online. Treat it like a self-paced course. Pick one model a week, read it, then apply it to the decision in your restaurant or organization. That's it for episode 1 of the Theories of the World at Work, the 80-20 rule. In the next episode, we will look at another powerful model that shapes both our calendar and your stress levels, the Parkinson's Law, the idea that work expands to fill the time you give it. Until then, cook your vital few and don't be afraid to let the trivial many go. Signing off, this is